And I simply can't or I cannot understand for the life of me why concerning food we just simply can't be honest. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dowell here. Hey, consider looking down the description over here and joining my Patreon channel so we get a little bit more personal, okay, concerning information. Now, watch this. So the other day, I did this Tyson beef processing plants. They're shutting down. I mean, we're talking about thousands of jobs gone. Of course, then the first sentiment that actually hits your mind. Let me turn on this. So the first sentiment that actually hits your mind is, man, beef prices are going through the roof. They got a shortage of beef. Well, I don't know how they have a shortage of beef. But anyway, they have a shortage of beef. What we gonna do? Then I start thinking, wait a minute. They don't have a shortage of beef. And beef prices are not going through the roof. This is a move. This is a move to make sure that people are tanking themselves up with, look this, lab-grown meat. Lab-grown meat. So you're still going to see meat in the grocery stores, but it's going to be stuff that's created in the lab. So I went to old trusty AI this morning, and I asked a question about are they required to report, meat grown in the lab? And the double speak and the double talk is appalling. Listen to this. So I asked, is beef in the lab, when it's grown in the lab, does it have to be on the label? And are they required to put it on the label? AI says, yes. All right, so immediately you'll think that everybody would pause for a second. Oh, boy. At least when I go by there, it's going to say lab-grown meat. Nope. Look what it says. It says, yes, lab-grown meat must be labeled, but it will not say lab-grown. Regulators require terms like cell cultivated. So don't go down and look at the package and think they're going to tell you lab-grown. Now you got to look. It's like all these other crazy chemicals that is in the food, and it got these long alphabets, probably about 15, 20 letters long, and then you got to try to go look it up and figure it out because you can't spell the stuff. But then now you have to know consciously, if you're buying meat in the store, it says cell cultivated or cell cultured on the packaging. Approved terms, the FDA and the USDA require descriptive phrasing such as cell cultivated or cell culture right next to the product's name. State laws. Several states have specifically ruled or passed extra laws requiring prominent disclosure so buyers do not confuse it with traditional farm-raised meat. That's another thing. I don't buy farm-raised meat. Farm-raised meat meaning, excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't buy farm-raised fish. It should come from the lakes, the rivers, the streams, or the ocean. Now, I don't fool around with that stuff right there. All right? Now, farm-raised, that's where cattle is actually raised. They're raised on the farm, okay? Ingredients, just like any other food item, the ingredient list must be clearly shown and cell-cultivated sources components. Okay, so what's going to be the nutritional value of this cell-cultivated or cell-cultured meat? Myself personally, I think it's just going to probably make the population sicker because I don't think they're trying to keep people around for the long haul. I think it's going to make people sicker. And again, it should be motivation. It should have been motivation a long time ago. Because I've been preaching this and teaching this, and I'm not on here telling you that I told you so. I'm not doing that. But I've been on here screaming and hollering and telling everybody for decades, get some land. See, land, when I was telling you that, it was cheap. Now land is so expensive. Even in this little rural area where I'm at, people are paying upwards. I'm not talking about no A-grade land either in a very nice closed gated community, these people are paying upwards of $20 and $30 and $40,000 an acre. Unheard of. Especially when it wasn't too long ago that I purchased 10 acres with a house on it for $60,000. Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, we had to do some work on the house, but glory to the King. Man, we're sitting on a gold mine now if we ever decide to sell, which we're not going to. But why? Well, now you got land. Last Straight Talk, if you can go in my archives and look, I spoke extensively about field and the house. You see, people today, instead of thinking, how can I enhance this field to bring forth a yield for me so that I can pay for a house, people go out and labor backwards, and they go out and get jobs and stuff to pay for the house that's on the field, and the field is not giving any yield whatsoever at all. I was showing some brothers the other day this hay field we purchased, right? Because we used to have to buy hay. And forgive me for my digressions, but I'm showing you something in relation to this if you would become a doer and not a hearer only. So we got like 120 rolls of hay, thereabout, right? Probably going to get more because we're going to resow the field here in a week or two. And I sat up there and thought to myself, and we sold half of that hay, or at least a quarter of it. I believe. My memory don't serve me correct, but what I'm getting to is we were able to get, I think, $3,000, $4,000 maybe off of the hay that we sold. Maybe 800, 900. I can't remember, whatever it is. But what I'm saying is that that's a lot of rolls. We don't need that many rolls for the amount of cattle that we have. Now, pretty soon, get about another 2-3 years, we're going to probably be using every single bit of them rolls. But what I'm getting to is that now the field in itself is yielding, and it's eventually, over a period of time, it's going to pay for itself. And it's also feeding our cattle. And we know what's in it. You see, you've got to, I tell people all the time, for those of you that are Bible scholars, you've got to stop trying to look at the scriptures from a modern day perspective and point of view. And you need to start looking at it from an agricultural standpoint, from an agricultural people, and think agriculturally. And then the principles of Proverbs and the Psalms would jump right off the pages, and it would give you understanding of the times that we live in right now. I don't trust this lab-grown meat stuff. There's some maniacs out there, man, that's trying to murder people. At least in my mind they are. What say you?